This is a very difficult question because my mind is fluttering now and thinking of many, many artists, and I want to say at least 20 names. But if I was squeezed, I would say my two favorite artists today that I like to read and acquire are first from Lebanon, Nadia Say Ali, who was born and brought up in Lebanon and then moved to France, where she now lives. She's in her 80s. I had the honor, really, and privilege of meeting her at the height of the pandemic in 2020. And I'm so grateful to Salih Barakat for taking me to her studio to meet her. And Nadia Saikali really was a pioneer of installation art and light art all the way back from the 1960s and 70s. But she was also a great painter. And she was she's an abstract artist. And I remember asking her about it. And her background is ballet. And she told me that abstract art is like dancing on the canvas. And so that's what I really liked about her. I like that she transported her physical performance art into the canvas. And she's absolutely one of my favorite artists. We've bought 4 paintings by her, and as well as the light installation. And we're bidding on 2 works coming up. So wish us luck. And the other artist that I'm obsessed with is from Sudan. And it's Hussein Sharif, who was part of the Khartoum School of Art from the 1950s and 60s. He studied in the UK under Bacon, and I think Freud as well might have taught him. And he references a lot of African themes in his artworks. But what I really love from his art are the titles that he gives his paintings. And I love artists who title their work. And the titles that he comes up with are a lot of fun. So one of the works is called The Big Red. The other one is Witch Girl Approached by Bird. One of them is called Upside Down Mountain and Moon. So it's very, very fun and interesting. And I feel like because he's somebody who's interested in fiction, going back to what Professor Salwa Mikdadi said, because he's interested in fiction, I feel like a lot of ideas from the world of fiction permeated into his canvases as well. So these are 2 names, but there's so many others.
Amazing. And Salwa, what about you? If you were to give 2 names from the many that I'm sure that you love.
Well, the 2 that left a big imprint on my thoughts and love for art is Baya Mahyiddin, who I spent a week with in Algeria, a self-taught artist, and that tells you a great deal about art education, looking at her work. And I recommend for those who have never heard of her to look her up, Baya, B-A-Y-A, on the Google, and you will find that she has a lot of fan. Her fan is, I think, Sultan owns several of her works. She came to fame because Picasso noticed her work at the Met Gallery in Paris in 1949 and asked to meet her, and was introduced to her through André Breton, and they invited her to Paris to meet with other artists and spend time with Picasso, 3 months actually, while he watched her mold her clay. And that is not the reason I was interested in her, but not because in Picasso she attracted Picasso. No, but it was more of her personality after I met her, and her attitude, her response, and her intuitiveness to the art. I mean, she was born an artist. The other one, the second artist that left a major impression on me on the art is Salwa Mikdadi. I know it happens to be 2 female artists, but they're very powerful female artists. One was more on the quiet side, Baya, but Salwa Mikdadi wasn't really as quiet. And she was a leader in abstraction in the Arab world. She also admired and was a student of Islamic art and Islamic culture. And she was a multi-talented artist who worked not only in paintings, but in a host of other material. I mean, her studio was more like a metal shop. than anything else. Never seen a studio like that. She introduced me to this, and I first met her when I was 17 years old, so I will never forget my first impressions of these artists. So these are the two, and I won't go any further. I would let the viewers or our listeners do their own research on the subject of these two artists.
Amazing.